home construction. And here's your hosts, Terry Cannell Beck and Randy Blake.
That's right. Good morning, Randy Blake. Well, we've got a Randy Blake here. Hang on. He's calling us for the VFW, and there he is. How are you, buddy?
Good. I lost you there, man.
Yeah, I actually hung up on you, so my bad.
Well, now I know how you really feel.
Well, you know, don't take it personal. It's there's too many buttons to press.
Well, this is the first time with the new radio station we're doing remote.
Right? The first time that Randy is not in the studio. He's at the rock and roll kitchen, the VFW, the sitting back and enjoying a nice VFW breakfast this morning.
Yeah, they playing some good music. So I heard some 50s music a minute ago.
All right, that's pretty sweet. So good. I like a good 50s music. There's some good stuff in the 50s.
Yeah, well, you know it led up to rock and roll.
Little Chuck Berry. So yeah.
You know, I believe that's who was playing.
See, you got that. Now that's good music right there. So, but anyway, happy Saturday, happy Easter Saturday to you, man. Hope everything's going well.
Happy Saturday to you all too.
And yeah, it's just one of those wonderful, wonderful Saturdays where we get to kick back and sets up the weekend for lots of people. You know, for like the week off, that kind of thing.
And you know, the weather's going to be great. And think about opening day of trout season. It's not snowing.
You know, actually, I was looking here earlier, and in 2013 today, we had snow. It popped up on my phone, and I was like, I don't remember that particular snow, but I'm sure we left here, and it got wet and got icy. But apparently 2013 today. So we've had some of those days, right? Like, I mean, we remember those where you don't know if it's going to like what the weather's going to do, and you know, you wake up and it's a Saturday morning and snow hits and it's April, and then the good news is it usually burns off pretty quick. So, but here we are, you know, one of these days like today where it's really nice, and we don't have to worry about that. So,
well, you know, we got rain coming tomorrow, so
yeah,
that helped us drought.
In the wildfires, in the region.
Oh yes.
Well, I went to. I was actually up at Grandfather Mountain yesterday, and we were talking a little bit about that. You know, with some of the. Actually, it was with the shuttle drivers. You know, they take you from the visitor center, the museum, whatever you want to call it, up to the swinging bridge. There's a shuttle, and so we're riding it and talking to them, and that's what she was saying was like how hazy it's been because of the smoke, and they've because grandfather they're getting the smoke. She said you could see the smoke haze coming in from the fire down in Wilkesboro area, as well as the fire down in was it Mitchell County? I believe it is, right? Or was I don't know if it's contained.
Byrd County.
Yeah, I don't know if how that one looks at the moment, but yeah, but it was just interesting, to hear her talk about it. So I was like, yeah, hadn't really, didn't really occur to me that. I mean, I don't know why. I just hadn't thought about it, but like, yeah, some nasty storms out there, nasty wind, nasty fires.
They're saying in Mitchell County, 600 acres.
Oh, is that what it's up to? I mean, I hadn't.
Two of them,
okay.
Actually. Clay County and Mitchell County is 600 acres.
Okay.
Wilkes County has reached 600 acres and 50% contain.
Oof. Well, hopefully tomorrow some of that. Tomorrow's going to be a wet day. It's going to be a rainy day throughout the day on Easter Day, and hopefully that'll at least help those situations. But North Carolina's still in a drought.
Bad drought.
Yeah.
What?
And in fact, I was reading a thing where one of the baseball teams or something was having fireworks for this weekend. They're like, nope, cancel that. Too much, too dry. May have been down in Hickory or something. I don't remember where I read that, but yeah, it's like ugh. I worry about Western North Carolina. We've been worried about it for a long time since the hurricane. We were preaching that from day one, and I think we're starting to see some of that. But,
well, it can happen, and let's hope it don't.
That's my hope. That's for sure. Because, oof, and there was some house fires and stuff this past week in the county, and I know there was some worry about that with all the lightning and stuff catching the woods on fire too. Because we had a nasty little thunderstorm a couple days ago.
Did you get hail at your house?
At my house, I did not. I was still at school, and I could hear it, thundering. In fact, we were kind of like, "Wow, that's a big storm." And then, get home and start, social media and realize that it was some especially I think eastern part of the county towards Deep Gap, I guess. I know got quite a bit of hail the other day.
Yeah, one of the veterans showed the picture, and it looked like snow all over the ground.
Yep. So it's that time of year. That's I feel like we hadn't had a big hailstorm in the last couple of years. Maybe we have, and I just overlooked it. But that's okay with me, by the way. I'm not complaining about that. I just feel like we hadn't had it.
Yeah.
But okay. So you're at the VFW. What do they got for breakfast this morning?
Oh, biscuits and gravy, eggs, sausage, pancakes. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been to the Rock and Roll Kitchen.
Mm-hmm. So, that's also, of course, everybody can get out there now. Breakfast is being served as we speak, and get on out there and say hello to Randy and the guys, and you'll be there. Breakfast will go on till what time?
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock. So head on out to the VFW, and it's going to be a beautiful Saturday. So go on out there, get your Saturday started, right?
Yep. And don't forget steak night this month on the 18th.
That's right. Yeah, love a good steak night. We've been waiting for steak night for a little while now. So the 18th, and we'll have to get it.
And I'll even cook a well done for you, Terry.
You cook me a well done steak, then I may just talk to Leslie, and we may just have to. I'll put it up on her. She'll have to. If she says yes, we'll go.
All right.
I'm telling you, man. You cook me a well done steak, I'm good to go. I know I'm a rare one.
Hell, I'll kill it for you.
But you'll cook not so well done steaks for all the weird people out there, right?
Yeah, like me.
Yep. So, what are you gonna have with the steak on that night?
Baked potato and salad bar, roll.
Nice.
I got competition coming in. We got a new steakhouse going to open up.
So you got to compete. All right. Well,
yeah.
Go check out the original Rock and Roll Kitchen steak, Randy. Of course, the 18th. So a couple weeks from now, but coming up quickly.
And you might come in this morning and see a little stuff laying around. We are changing the auxiliary room around, doing some construction.
Nice.
So we're gonna have the intermediate room, come in. It's gonna be a little larger.
Okay. The pool table gonna still be hanging out, right?
Yeah, but we're gonna move it to the other side of the building.
Okay.
rearranging it for the dart players can have a little more room to pool. And we're going to make that the auxiliary room where the pool table was.
Okay, nice. That'll be fun. That's awesome. Well, one thing I like is you guys are constantly trying to get bigger and better, and that's one cool thing about the VFW is like it's not a post that just is just static. You guys are always trying to do stuff and make it better for everybody who come and all the veterans especially, and then of course just the community itself, because you're always doing things for the larger community as well, not just the veteran community. So it's pretty cool stuff, man.
It is, and I want to give a shout out. I sent you the picture of the recording studio for the veterans
right
there.
Yeah, looking good, man.
And their podcast is the Veterans History and Lyrics of Music. So they take a song and place it back in history and try to find out what really caused that song to happen.
That's cool. I like it. It's a cool setup they got. Of course, they're a little more high tech than we are because they've got cameras. We don't have cameras. We're
trying.
We're trying, but we don't have the big spotlights and stuff. So yeah, these guys are rocking it, man. That's pretty cool. And what is some one of those Blue Yeti mics there? I can't tell in the picture.
Yeah, I was on one of their podcasts with them.
That's awesome. So well, yeah. And so tell us the name of that one again.
Veterans History and Lyrics Podcast.
Nice. So there you go. So all the listeners out there, check that podcast out. So and don't forget about this one, all about home construction. Share this one with your friends. Randy, let's take a break, and then that way we can come right back and jump straight into our topic today. Sound good?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. All about home construction. Thanks for listening to us. That's right. All about home construction here on WATA. Thanks for listening to us. And Randy Blake at the Rock and Roll Kitchen at the VFW. You there, Randy?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. There we go. See, I figured this out a little bit. Press some buttons. But Randy again at the VFW till 11 o'clock. Get out there and get some breakfast on this Saturday morning. Again, don't forget, a couple weeks from now on the 18th, the steak dinner. So,
yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, come on out, guys. It does help the veterans. We've expanded. We got that deck built outside.
Oh, yeah.
Believe it or not, after 15 years, got the smoke system in.
That's cool. That's awesome.
I whined and cried and bitched and moaned for a long time over that.
That's right. Well, I mean, I know you've been talking about it, but you finally got a system in, and which is really cool. Helps clean out some of that air. And of course, for those that don't want to, that you don't have to go through the bar. You don't have to go to the bar. But for those that do, it's a lot nicer now. I like it, man.
Well, yeah, we got the side entrance. You can come in, so you don't even have to come through. So.
That's it. So, well, cool stuff. So get on over there and check it out. Good stuff. So.
Yep.
Well, all right. Let's
smells good from where I'm sitting.
Hey, that's all that matters. Or could that be because you took a shower this week? I don't know. Could be a little both. But all right, what do you say we jump into a little bit of topic this morning?
That sounds fine to me.
We talk a lot about on the show, make sure that you hire someone with general liability, someone with workman's comp. And a few weeks ago, we kind of touched on it a little bit, but with the sake of time, we didn't get to jump into it a lot. And so, I think that'd be a fun little topic here. So this one, I guess today's topic leans more towards the actual, contractors and subcontractors out there than the homeowners. But I think it's important for homeowners to know too, because you got to know as a homeowner if you're, that you got to cover yourself, because if I hire you, let's say I hire a contractor or a subcontractor to come in and fix my deck, say, if you don't have, the person that I hire doesn't have general liability and or workman's comp, as the homeowner, I'm responsible now.
Yes, you are. And but another thing too that people don't understand is without the liability, you put the liability. The homeowner takes the responsibility himself, okay?
Yeah.
Because it's just like the guy was talking about the other day. Well, I built a deck without a permit. Well, if that deck falls down, who's responsible?
Exactly.
That's the reason we have inspection departments.
Right.
And yes, it can be a hassle. And I get frustrated myself being a licensed contractor. And but it's for the well-being of the homeowner, and it's a future investment for the homeowner also down the road.
Sure.
You don't want some home inspector coming in and say, well, your deck's going to have to be tore down and rebuilt.
Yep. Goodbye. Good. Yep, exactly. So general liability basically covers property damage and bodily injury, right? So in other words, like if I am working on your house and someone gets hurt, or if I'm working on your house and I damage it somehow, I mean we've I guess on the cheaper end of things, if you will, like you throw a hammer and it actually breaks a window, but typically like especially big stuff, again, building that deck, the deck, something happens, the deck falls. That's where general liability comes in. Is that right?
That's it. And but one thing about general liability is if somebody builds something and it's a code violation, that insurance won't cover that.
Okay.
See, there's a fine line there. And,
it's kind of like warranties, right? Like in that aspect where it's like if you don't do it right, you don't get covered under the warranty.
That's right. And one of the things that most people don't think about is, let's use a pack of shingles, okay?
Yeah.
On the back of that shingle is the manufacturer's specifications on how you have to install that shingle. Mm-hmm. And if you don't use the specifications from the manufacturer, your liability insurance won't cover it.
Right.
or the shingle warranty. You know, all these years, I've only seen one roof replaced because the installer did it correctly and the wind blew the roof off and the shingle company had the roof replaced.
Mm-hmm.
The manufacturer had it replaced.
Right. Sure. Well, that's the interesting part, you know, so, but hopefully, if a contractor is professional enough to have insurance, as they should, like the hope is they do it, they build it correctly, but that's necessarily not the same thing, right?
Yep.
So okay, so that's general liability. Now, here's the thing that I've always kind of went back and forth on, because like you hear, you know, it's like, well, I need, let's say as some kind of contractor, subcontractor, like I want to do a job for you, and I come in and it's like, you know, yeah, here's my proof of insurance, but I can't give you a recent copy. Like I can't give you, just because I can show you a piece of paper, a certificate of insurance, doesn't mean that it's a valid policy, because that valid policy guarantee comes from the insurance itself.
That's right. And your insurance provider will mail a copy or email a copy to the homeowner showing that you have workman's comp liability.
Okay.
And, you know, there's a fine line there with that too, because when you go to pull a permit on it, it says, have you secured workman's comp for 3 or more employees? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, you have to check that box, you know, if you got employees. Well, if it's a plumber that he works by himself, he's still required to have workman's comp, even though the workman's comp doesn't cover him.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and I've been frustrated over that over the years.
Yeah. I always had issues with that one.
And I've complained to the state over it, because people that are a certain age, or not certain age, sorry, that's the wrong statement, but there's a lot of plumbers, there's a lot of electricians, there's a lot of painters out there that work by themselves, and the workman's comp doesn't cover them.
Right. Even if you pay for it. I mean, yeah. Yeah.
Like, well, to give you an idea, in 2010, if I wanted the workman's comp for myself, it was $3,500 a year.
Yeah. And it didn't, if in the event you needed it, in other words, you got hurt,
I couldn't use it.
Wouldn't cover anything. It wouldn't pay anything. Yeah. I mean, it's
That's
a ghost policy, essentially. You're paying that money for a piece of paper to check a box.
Yes, it is. And it's pretty frustrating. But that's the law.
Yeah. No, I
don't agree with that one.
Yeah, I've always had that. No, don't get me wrong. I like and appreciate workman's comp, right? You have 3 or more employees in North Carolina. You know, if someone gets hurt, it helps cover bills. I don't know the ins and outs. I guess it covers part, or at least some wages. If they get hurt, depends on the injury, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, I've heard of instances. I mean, I know several people who have, you know, I know one guy in particular who stepped in a hole, was doing some masonry work, and stepped in a hole and jacked up his knee, and, you know, had to have surgery, and I don't remember, ACL and whatever, something like that. But basically screwed up his knee and had to have surgery. And if it wasn't for workman's comp, then my buddy who the business owner, you know, was, I mean, he was sweating. He was worried. First of all, he's worried about his buddy who's working for him. But, you know, and then it's like, how am I going to cover this? And luckily workman's comp did in that situation. So that's the good thing about workman's comp, right?
It is. You know, they are, the laws on pot smoking and stuff are, you know, they're getting less and less. Right. Okay. It's not as strict. And, but under workman's comp, your employees are required to sign that paper that they will not smoke dope or drink alcohol, mm-hmm. or any kind of drugs. because state law does require them to take a blood test if you get hurt.
Exactly.
And if they find anything in your system, workman's comp don't cover it.
Doesn't cover it, exactly. But that's the way it is in the workforce outside of the construction industry. So I like that it streamlines that part of it. Is it your story? I think it is the one where you're like, yeah, I'm licensed. And by that, he meant like he had a driver's license. And then he's like, I'm insured because I got car insurance or something.
Well, actually, that wasn't my story. That came from the North Carolina state, the gentleman that was head over the building commission in North Carolina. And he said during the housing crunch, in the 2000s, it hit harder down in the coastal area than it did here.
Right.
We come about 2 years later, and he said, I lost my business. And he said, here I come out of Walmart, and I seen a truck sitting there, and it says licensed, insured, and bonded. And we've discussed this on the radio show before, and he said, well, I'm just going to sit here and wait on this guy. And so he did, and he said, what kind of insurance you got? He said, I got insurance on my truck. He said, what kind of license you got? He said, I got license for my truck to drive it, and I just put bonded on it because everybody else does too. Bond costs a lot of money.
Yep.
But when they talk about in North Carolina over $40,000, that's licensed and insured.
Right.
And that's a big deal. And everybody out there is eligible to take a test to get their contractor's license.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I could go, this week and take it if I wanted to, right? But I'm just a guy on the radio, just because I can.
Well, there's a little more to it than that, but you've got to show that you have the money to operate. And that's one of the things in North Carolina is you have to keep so much money in the bank.
Right. Okay. And that's where the bond part comes in, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay.
So you can get a bond, but it's hard to do.
So the thing about the license is it shows that essentially that you understand the building codes and business law and that you can pass the exam, right?
That's it.
I mean, that's, yeah. It's not like a on the job, test where it's like you really, in other words, I could be book smart and never pick up a hammer and legally pass that test. Doesn't mean I'm qualified, but well,
there's a lot of people out there that do pass the test that aren't qualified to be builders.
Right. Yeah. Well, in North Carolina, especially like projects over $40,000, that's where that's where the general contractor license is required. Is that right? Is it $40,000 the number?
Yes, it is. To obtain a building contractor license in North Carolina, you need to follow these steps. Eligibility. All right. You must hold a license for any construction project over $40,000. You have to apply for an application through the North Carolina Licensing Board for General Contractors.
Right.
You have to pass the examination. You have to show financial responsibility to hold your license. And that's show financial responsibility by maintaining insurance and bonding. See, now, there's not much bonding that goes on in the residential.
Right.
And but on commercial, all commercial jobs have to have bonds, and it's a bid bond.
And that's because of the cost of the job.
That's right.
Okay.
And your licenses are only good for 1 year. They don't continue on it. And that's the reason you hear me saying we got to do continuing education.
Right.
And we have to do this 8-hour course every year just to be able to apply for our license again.
Sure. Yep. Now, you don't have to take the test every year, do you?
No, we don't. But you have to hold, strict compliance of what the law says.
Right.
They are starting to, or let me rephrase that. They used to send out a letter. I've not got one in a long time, but it used to be quarterly of people that have violated the law and what the state of North Carolina has come out and done. Sometimes they've taken license for 6 months. Sometimes they've taken contractor's license for a year. Well, basically, if they take your license for a year, you're out of business. You cannot perform anything in North Carolina over 40,000 if they take your license.
Right.
And then sometimes they'll take your license and you're never allowed to build in the state of North Carolina. And on Channel 3, or I guess Channel 9, David Faraday, there was a contractor in Charlotte down there that was doing work, and he start the work, get a draw, and not complete the work. Mm-hmm. Well, they had, they showed his picture and stuff on TV because they tried to talk to him about it. Well, they got wind of him working in Raleigh, and so he went up there and talked to the homeowner in Raleigh, and he was standing in the house when that contractor came up to the door to talk to the homeowner, and he come out and he said, "We've been trying to talk to you about your construction practices while you're not finishing." He got in his truck and drove off.
Took off, yeah.
Well, most people today don't realize that, North Carolina can actually put you in jail for that.
Yeah.
And there was 2 roofers in Watauga County. They got 6 years for that in prison.
Right.
So, I mean, just because you think people think I'm a homeowner, I can hire this and not worry about it. Well, the liability is on this gentleman that's doing work for you. Okay.
Right. Yep. I get it. So, tell you what, let's take another break, and we're going to come right back right after this. Thanks for listening to us. That's right. All about home construction here on WATA. Randy Blake at the Rock and Roll Kitchen in the VFW till 11 o'clock. Well, what's looking good over there, Randy? What kind of food?
Well, everything. I can smell it all the way over here.
Nice.
It's a little slow this morning, but, we're trying to get business built back up.
Love it. So get on over there and tell him hello. They'll be out there. He's out there.
Come on.
Yeah, if you're driving around in the car, you can still listen to us and then get over there and get some breakfast. So, all right, man. So we talked a little bit about some insurance and stuff and protecting your business and stuff, licensing. Let's keep on the contractor side of things for this, and then we'll jump over to the homeowner side too. But risk management here. So what about those handshake jobs, right? The verbal agreement jobs, and we all want to live in a perfect world where that's all that matters. Where you can trust someone and take them for their word. But on the contractor side of things, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, sometimes a handshake goes a long way, but
it should.
The people that has morals, but a lot of people don't have morals, and but I was involved in a lawsuit where a homeowner didn't want to pay me because I'd done work for him before, off and on for 5 years, and he decided he didn't want to pay me.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing is because the way he was acting, anytime he called, I had him on speakerphone with all my employees around me.
Right.
Okay. So now, if it's one-on-one, it's hearsay. Okay. If there's more than one of you two listen to the conversation, now it's not hearsay. Now it can be validated by somebody else, and we won in court over that. Now, it took 2 years to do it, but the point is, it's better to start out with a contract than a handshake. And a lot of people, it is a hassle to do a contract because you got to get your attorney to draw one up, and that costs money.
Well, even as a subcontractor, right? Like so, even smaller scale work, not full remodels and stuff. Like, you still want a contract. I mean, it's even hiring a guy to come paint your house. Even it may not be a full full out size of the contract that you're going to have as a contractor. But even then, right, having that written contract makes sure that should it talk about the payments, the schedule, maybe there's a deposit, maybe there's not, but when is the job due, or when is the money due? Is it done halfway through? Is there draws? Is there final at the end? There's no misunderstanding, I guess, when you have it written.
It is, and a good way for a sub to do it, or on small jobs, is put down the scope of work that's going to be performed.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you put scope of work down, this is a contract that you can use. All right. You don't need an attorney for this, because at the bottom of the page, it has to be signed by the homeowner. You put your draw system in it and everything in that scope of work on what you got to have.
Right.
And when they sign that paper at the bottom, now it's a binding contract.
Exactly. And that protects. And so again, on the homeowner side, it also protects, then you guaranteed what work they've committed to. But on the contractor or subcontractor side, again, on the business side for you, it protects you, because even with contracts, you hear stories. We've all been involved in some aspect where it's like there's still a dispute, and it's like, well, at least you have a contract written out.
It is,
protect you.
And there are people out there where you can do the best you can do, and they're still not happy.
Right.
And that's real frustrating.
Basically,
and we've all dealt with it.
Yeah. I mean, basically, if it's not written on paper, then it doesn't really exist. Now, maybe you can win in court, but that's a lot of hoops to jump through. Whereas if you write it down, it's a lot easier to to guarantee.
Yes, it is.
So-
And it's easier to get your money.
Yep.
And
Exactly.
when I first got started, my neighbor and stuff, he said the best thing you can do in business is to make sure you dot all the I's and cross all the T's.
Exactly.
And make sure you do the best of your ability, because it's a lot easier to get your money
Yeah.
when everything is correct.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, so
And sometimes it'll be hard, but that's what you got to do.
exactly. Contracts. So again, this goes for sub work. This goes for general contracting too here. But a contract with someone, when you're doing work, really, first of all, should tell you, as you mentioned, the scope of work, ideally in decent detail, and then typically there's some kind of payment schedule. Is there a deposit? When is the final payment due? Maybe if it's a larger project, is there a draw in between?
Yes. Depends on the time period of the job, how long it's going to take.
And typically in a good contract anyway, you're going to have a timeline in there. Now, you may have some exceptions with weather and things like that we can't control. That's just sort of life. But, you need to at least have some kind of idea. I mean, because even me, like, again, if I'm even if I'm just mowing your yard, right? Like if you need to know when my starting. Oh wait, yeah, let's sign this contract, and you give me a deposit, and then I don't show up for a year. That doesn't make sense. So you got to have some of that in there, and then maybe a warranty information or some kind of, depends on what the job is and stuff. Like maybe there is a warranty, especially when you get larger projects or contracting projects. All that though should be spelled out in the contract.
Yes, it is. And, a lot of things that people don't understand is North Carolina does have a law of repose. And the law of repose is a warranty on structural for 6 years. Mm-hmm. That 90% of the contractors out there don't realize that.
Exactly.
So, and the law of repose can cover decks falling, or let's say you missed a flashing over a window. Okay. Yeah. Now that window's leaking and it's starting to rot that wall out. And the homeowner, 4 years after you did the job, starts to see his siding start to rot from behind. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, now you have to fix that on your own dime. That's an issue where the liability insurance will not cover.
Right. Okay, so let's chase that rabbit hole just a minute. Let's say I am the subcontractor. I'm the guy who actually put the the siding up or whatever, and you're the contractor, though. The law of repose goes back to you. Now, you may sue me as the subcontractor for not doing it correctly, but ultimately, it's your responsibility as the contractor.
That's right.
So,
and because you're the one that is in charge of the job.
Which, though, is, while we're talking about contracts, is a good reason. Even a sub and a contractor probably should have a contract between themselves.
Yep.
So,
well, there are subcontractor contracts. We can have subs do it, but it's a good thing to use a subcontractor contract for the first time they do it or second time. That keeps them in line. But if you got a guy that my subs that I had for over 25 years, some of them 25 years, you trust their work. Yeah. You didn't have to go back and babysit them.
Yep.
And that's what makes nice having good subs.
Mm-hmm. I get it. Look, I even with a written contract, even with a written contract, though, there's still shady people out there. But at least it ties their hands a little bit. So I get that.
I'm looking up here on the North Carolina, the class hours required for a plumber and electrician. I ain't found the one for heating and air. Typically requires a plumber now. Think of this. Typically requires 8,000 hours of on-the-job training, 720 hours of classroom instruction. That's pretty steep, you know. And electrician's not that bad. But
right.
The bad thing is, one thing that really bothers me about that, let's say you're working for a plumbing contractor or electrician contractor, okay? And let's get to electrician. Electrician generally requires 4,000 to 8,000 hours of supervised on-the-job training to pass the exam.
Yeah.
Before you can even take the exam, the owner of that plumbing company or electrician or heating and air company has to sign off for you to be able to take that exam.
Yeah.
If you've worked all these hours and all of a sudden you got fired on the job, you've lost those hours.
Right.
And that started, I guess, around 2006, North Carolina trying to bring everybody up to, you know, codes change continuously. And we're still under 2018 code book. But during this time, there have been code changes, and we used to get a book and get a letter with all the code changes. Now a contractor has to look up the code changes himself.
Exactly. Yep. I'll tell you what, let's take our last break here, a short one, and we'll be right back right after this. Thanks for listening to us. That's right. All about home construction. Thanks for listening to us. Randy Blake at the VFW breakfast this morning. So get on over there and say hello to him. So I'm glad you're having fun over there, man.
Well, I am.
So.
You know, it's been a while since I've been in helping. Well, I'm not really helping. I'm just doing a radio show here to try to help them. How about that?
I like it. So get on over there and say hello to Randy. So, yeah. All right, talking a little bit about some contracts and things this morning, and kind of how to protect yourself and licensing and stuff. So you wanted to spend the last couple of minutes here talking a little more about the contractor licensing side, I guess.
Yeah, well, the limitations. And I actually had a gentleman call me this week and wanted to know why he could not hire a gentleman to build his garage. And the estimates on the garage were about $80,000. Well, he wanted to hire a gentleman to do it that did not have license. And I explained to him that $40,000 is the limit. Once you cross $40,000, that gentleman's in violation. Even if the homeowner pulls the permit, he's in violation of the codes of North Carolina doing it. And which sometimes you slide by, sometimes you don't. And but North Carolina raised the limitations because they know that the price of the projects were getting higher. Okay, and once they get higher and higher, then you got more people breaking the rules.
Right.
But another thing too is, if you're an unlicensed person and you cross that $40,000 mark, the homeowner doesn't have to pay you anymore. So he can demand you finish the job. So if let's say this guy was a shyster and the guy took this job on because he needed it, and it's an $80,000 job. He works all the way up to the $80,000. Well, homeowner can pay him the $40,000 and not pay him the other $40,000 because that's the state law.
Right. That's crazy. Yeah.
Which I learned the hard way a long time ago about that, because we did a project when the limitation was $17,000. That was in the early 90s. And the guy said, well, we have to do change orders, but I'll pay you for your change orders. Well, at the end of the project, the change orders equaled $17,000, which was the $17,000 over the limitation at that time. And no, I did not get paid.
Right.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Yep.
You can't even hire an attorney to get your money, because the law states once you cross your limitations, it's no longer your money.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's a hard one for people to learn.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But again, it goes back to being educated, being smart about how you do business, and just and
there are people out there that prey on young people wanting to be contractors.
Right. Well, and some of it too is not that they set out. And I mean, I agree. There's definitely the predatory out there, but there's also people who plan on doing something and try to, think they're going to be honest about it, and then at the end is like, well, I didn't really know what this was going to take, and I don't have that now. So how can I get out of it?
Yeah, well, that's how they get out of it. They just don't pay you, but you got to finish product.
Yep. Yeah, I get it. Another one that most people don't think about is roofing, okay? And with a cedar shake roof, I was looking up today, a square of cedar shake roof cost $885 a square. Mm-hmm. Okay, on an average roof, material, just the shakes alone will work out to be right at $35,000, closer to $36,000. Okay, that's not counting your nails, your screws, your flashing, and stuff like that. So, all right, the materials alone can reach your limitations of the amount of money that you can do. That's not counting labor. Right. Yep. Yeah. You're right.
So that's a lot of money. So you're looking at that roof right there. Now, it's been a long time since I put a cedar shake roof on, but you're looking at that roof right there costing nearly $80,000 for 40 square of cedar shakes. Okay, so that's well over your limitation, and that's just a roofer.
Right. It's crazy. It adds up fast.
And, believe it or not, the state of North Carolina looks at that.
Gotcha.
And in class, they used a apartment complex, okay? Mm-hmm. You do not have to, you really have a license to do a roof in an apartment complex. But if it crosses that 40,000, you do. And so what they did was they actually took a guy that did one roof in a complex that it was under 40,000, but then he turned around and the owner of the complex wanted to roof the rest of them.
Right.
So once he started the rest of them, he went over his limitations, and that's when the state of North Carolina came in and busted him.
Yep.
Because he did not pull a permit because it was over 40,000 to do the rest of them.
Yep. That's the key. All right. Well, good stuff, man. Well, minute left here. Tell us again about the VFW breakfast going on.
Well, it's going on. Come on. Dave's here, and Eric's here, and I'm here for a little bit. And come join us on our steak dinner on the 18th. And for you big eaters, remember, we'll have the 32-ounce ribeye, the biggest steak in town.
Nice.
And it would help if you would call us at the VFW, let us know that you're interested in a 32, because it takes a little effort to cut those.
Right. Nice.
Which I have people that have bought every one of them I've cut because they just like them. So how about that?
Yep. Well, that's good. I mean, yeah, I love it. So get on out there today, and then again, make your plans now for the 18th. So, well, good stuff, Randy.
I will cook Terry a well done.
All right, well done steak it is. But for everybody else out there, you'll cook it raw.
Yep, I'll cook it any way you want it.
All right, man. Well, have fun and happy Easter. I hope you guys, you and the family, have fun in the next this weekend, and the kids have off next week. So hopefully they'll have some fun too. So
happy Easter to everybody out there.
That's it, man. Well, thanks, buddy. Have fun out there, and I guess we'll catch you next time. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. All about home construction. Thanks for listening to us. We'll see you later.
Bye.